Long before the time of Lena, the Orion, or even the discovery of Epsilon 5, there existed a civilization so ancient and profound that their influence permeated every corner of the cosmos. They were the Vael'Thir, a race of beings who had transcended the limitations of mortality and corporeal existence. Their empire spanned across galaxies, their cities floating between the stars like ethereal palaces crafted from light and thought. The Vael'Thir were not conquerors in the traditional sense. They did not seek to subjugate or expand through force. Instead, their purpose was far more mystical. They were the weavers of the cosmos, the keepers of the climbing fibers, threads of energy that connected all things in the universe. To the Vael'Thir, the universe was not a vast, empty expanse, but a living, breathing organism, and they were its caretakers. In the primordial days of their civilization, the Vael'Thir were not so different from other intelligent species. They were curious, inventive, and driven by the desire to explore the mysteries of the universe. Their homeworld, a lush planet orbiting a distant star, was a haven of knowledge and peace. For millennia, they lived in relative isolation, advancing their science and technology, unaware of the greater forces at work beyond their solar system. But their awakening came unexpectedly, during an expedition to a neighboring star system. While exploring the outer reaches of their galaxy, a team of Vael'Thir scientists detected a strange, repeating signal. It was unlike anything they had encountered, an intricate series of pulses and patterns, both familiar and alien. At first, they believed it to be a natural phenomenon, a byproduct of cosmic radiation or stellar activity. But as they studied it further, they realized it was a message embedded within the very fabric of the universe itself. The Vael'Thir had stumbled upon the climbing fibers. These fibers were not material objects, but strands of energy that connected all matter, all thought, and all existence. They stretched across the cosmos, linking stars to planets, dimensions to realities, and life to death. The fibers were the lifeblood of the universe, and the Vael'Thir had discovered the key to unlocking their potential. The revelation shook the foundations of their society. What they had once thought of as an empty void was now revealed to be a web of interconnected energy, a cosmic lattice that could be understood, manipulated, and controlled. The Vael'Thir realized that they were not alone in the universe, but part of a much larger, more intricate tapestry. And so, they dedicated themselves to mastering the climbing fibers. It took centuries for the Vael'Thir to fully comprehend the nature of the fibers. Their scientists and philosophers labored for generations, deciphering the patterns and learning how to interact with them. Through painstaking research, they developed a technology that allowed them to manipulate the fibers, bending the energy of the universe to their will. The first true success came when they managed to create a stable connection between their homeworld and a distant star system. This was not done through conventional means of space travel, but by weaving a pathway through the fibers themselves. They had discovered how to move across the universe without traversing the physical space in between. By stepping onto the climbing fibers, they could move instantaneously from one point to another. This breakthrough transformed Vael'Thir society. Their understanding of the universe expanded exponentially, as they realized that the fibers were not just a means of travel, but a pathway to higher planes of existence. They began to use the fibers to explore other dimensions, to tap into energies that had previously been beyond their comprehension. With their mastery of the climbing fibers, the Vael'Thir evolved. They became beings of light and energy, shedding their physical forms and ascending to a higher state of consciousness. To the rest of the universe, they appeared as gods, immortal, omniscient, and capable of shaping reality itself. But with great power came great responsibility. The Vael'Thir understood that the climbing fibers were delicate, and that any disruption to the network could have catastrophic consequences. They took it upon themselves to maintain the balance of the universe, to ensure that the fibers remained intact and that the cosmic web continued to function as intended. For eons, the Vael'Thir served as the stewards of the universe. They established nodes, vast obelisks of energy and light, at key points across the cosmos, anchoring the fibers and ensuring that they remain stable. These obelisks, known as the Nexus Stones, became the focal points of the climbing fibers, drawing energy from the stars and planets to reinforce the web of existence. Each Nexus Stone was a marvel of Vael'Thir engineering, capable of manipulating the fibers on a massive scale. They were built in the farthest reaches of space, on planets like Epsilon 5, chosen for their unique alignment with the fibers. These worlds became sacred to the Vael'Thir, places where the boundaries between the material and the immaterial blurred, and where the fibers were most concentrated. The Vael'Thir themselves became known as the Weavers, beings of immense power who could manipulate the fibers at will. They traveled across the universe, maintaining the Nexus Stones and ensuring that the cosmic web remained intact. For millions of years, they kept the universe in balance, preventing disruptions and ensuring that life could flourish. But as time passed, the Vael'Thir began to notice a disturbance in the fibers. It was subtle at first, barely perceptible, but it grew stronger with each passing century. The fibers in certain regions of the universe began to fray, their energy weakening and becoming unstable. The Weavers worked tirelessly to repair the damage, but the disruption seemed to spread faster than they could contain it. It was during this time that the Vael'Thir discovered the source of the disturbance, a tear in the fabric of the universe itself. This tear, known as the Nexus, was a point where the boundaries between dimensions had weakened, allowing dark energy to seep through and corrupt the climbing fibers. The Vael'Thir realized that the Nexus was a gateway to another realm, one that existed beyond the known dimensions, and that the dark energy was slowly unraveling the cosmic web. The Nexus posed a threat not only to the Vael'Thir, but to the entire universe. If left unchecked, the tear would continue to spread, and the fibers would collapse, leading to the complete destruction of all existence. The Vael'Thir understood that they had to act quickly to seal the Nexus and prevent the dark energy from spreading further. They constructed a new type of Nexus Stone, one designed specifically to contain the tear and prevent the dark energy from escaping. This new Nexus Stone was placed at the heart of the Nexus itself, anchored deep within the void between dimensions. The Weavers worked tirelessly to weave the fibers around the Nexus, reinforcing the tear and stabilizing the energy. For a time, the plan seemed to work. The Nexus was contained, and the fibers around it began to stabilize. But the Vael'Thir soon realized that they were fighting a losing battle. The dark energy from the Nexus was far more powerful than they had anticipated, and it continued to seep through the tear, corrupting the fibers and weakening the cosmic web. Despite their best efforts, the Vael'Thir were unable to fully contain the Nexus. The dark energy spread like a virus, infecting the fibers and unraveling the cosmic web. The Weavers were stretched thin, trying to repair the damage, but the corruption continued to spread faster than they could contain it. The Vael'Thir began to realize that their time was running out. They had spent eons maintaining the balance of the universe, but now they were faced with a threat that they could not defeat. The Nexus had become too powerful, and the dark energy was beyond their control. In their final act of desperation, the Vael'Thir made the ultimate sacrifice. They channeled all of their remaining energy into the Nexus Stone, creating a massive burst of energy that temporarily sealed the tear and stabilized the fibers. But the cost was immense. The Vael'Thir, once immortal beings of light and energy, were reduced to mere echoes of their former selves, their physical forms destroyed in the process. In the aftermath of the Vael'Thir's fall, the universe continued to exist, but it was forever changed. The fibers were still frayed and weakened, and the dark energy from the Nexus continued to spread, albeit at a slower pace. The Nexus Stones, once vibrant and powerful, began to fade, their energy depleted without the Weavers to maintain them. But the Vael'Thir had not been entirely forgotten. Their obelisks, the Nexus Stones, remained as silent sentinels, waiting for someone to rediscover their purpose. The knowledge of the climbing fibers, once the foundation of Vael'Thir's society, had been lost, but traces of it remained, encoded within the Nexus Stones. And so, the universe waited. It waited for a new generation of beings to rise, beings who would rediscover the ancient knowledge of the Vael'Thir, who would take up the mantle of the weavers and continue the work that had begun eons ago. The climbing fibers still pulsed with energy, and the cosmic web still connected all things, even as it frayed at the edges. In time, perhaps, the universe would be healed. But for now, it remained in a delicate balance, teetering on the edge of collapse, as the echoes of the Vael'Thir continued to whisper through the stars.